Okay, this is about how I'm using this vertical blind rail, and I'm using it for other than for vertical blinds. I'm going to be using this with curtains. So I need to work with these individual items here, and I'm going to show you how you can add additional ones or remove ones. These items, I don't even know what they're called, but from the vertical blinds. Now on the end here, this will come off, and then these guys, there's a piece in the middle that they go through, but these guys come off and they're hooked to each other. So what we're going to do is I'll show you how to deal with this hooking mechanism and how to work with it. Okay, here I have these guys taken out of the rail, and there's two things I'm going to show you. I'll show you how to put one on the end if you want to add another one, because if you want to add an additional one, you don't need to put it in the middle. You can just go on the end. There's no need to insert one. Okay, you can just put on the end. It'll just work normally. But if you had a bad one here in the middle, if this one was broken somehow and you need to replace it, then you'd have to do the one in the middle. So I'm going to show you how to put one on the end and then put one in the middle. And before we go into that, I'm going to go and I'll show you how this is how the mechanism works underneath here. Now, these plastic strips that are underneath, they're actually the same. They're identically the same, each one. So I have two different color ones, so it'll make it easier in explaining this thing. But it's the combination of these two that allow all these guys to hook together. And there you can see there's the sliding motion there. So the idea is going to be, okay, so how does this, what is the key to this whole thing? And if you want to call it that, but the secret, right? But the key to this thing is this piece of tab right on the end here. So this little tab, I don't know if this thing's going to focus or not, but there's a little tab on the end here. And that's what holds this whole thing together, okay? As crazy as that sounds. So here we have one of the items, one of these deals here, and so what happens is when you take this and put it inside, see how it fits right in there? Now, watch what happens when I pull it through, okay? So I'm going to pull it, and then there's going to be a snap. I don't know if you heard that or not. But see, now that's in there. It's snapped into place, okay? And that's what holds each one of these together in the assembly here. So now the way that you remove this, and this is the whole key to the whole thing, is you need to get underneath this guy here. So see how I'm underneath it, okay? See how I'm underneath, and then you wanna pry like that, and just get it underneath more if it's not coming out. Okay, and you just want to pry. There's no grunting or force. Don't use any real force or grunting or pushing hard. If you're doing that, you're doing it wrong. So the idea is just to pop that tab out of there. So the idea is to get underneath it and to push it up and forward. So that's what you're doing with this here. You can't slide it in and get under the tab, but you can get right in this area here, and when you pull up, it'll hold. You can use a small screwdriver. It has to be a really thin screwdriver though. Okay, I have an iFixit tool. So now, when I want to put two of them together, to make the connection between one and another, then this guy here is going to be, see how it goes in there? It's the same piece, it's the exact same piece, except now it's going to go in here like this. And see they both still can wiggle. I can take this out. So I have to take this one out, then I can take this one out. Okay, so I put the bottom one in first. It can be either one in first, doesn't matter. And then I put this one on top second. And I want to make sure that I get it underneath these little clips right here. You'll see these little I just call them they're pieces sticking out, pieces of plastic. See how they're underneath my fix-it tool there? See how they're underneath my fix-it tool there? There's two of them. There's one on this side and one on this side and one on that side. So you want both of those pieces underneath, and then you want the guy that's underneath. You want to pull that into place. See, so I'm taking that one that's underneath, and see, and I'm gonna see how it's going into place. It's underneath. It's the one. See how it's underneath there. And when I pull it, it's gonna snap into place. Okay. See, so now the one I just snapped into place doesn't move, and then this guy here is now moving, and then there's this guy on the end here. This part of it here in the end will stop it from going any further, and then this guy here is going to snap into the next one down the line. So that's how it works. Okay, so let's do the case where we add one on the end here. Okay, so I'm going to add an additional guy on the end, and so what I'll do is I've got to use my tool here to come in underneath like we did before and pull up. See, and that comes out, and then I'm going to just leave that in there, and then I'm going to put my new guy in here. Because this is going to go to this one. Okay, so I pulled that up here. I pulled that out there. Put in the second one here, and now I'm going to pull this forward and hold this, and so I'm going to be pulling like that, and you'll hear the snapping noise. Okay, and so now that's snapped in underneath here, and then this guy's free to roam, and then this new one on the end that I'm going to be putting on the end, I can just go ahead and put that in there, and then pull, and it's snapped into place, and now I have it on the end. So I have my new one. So that's how you put a new one on the end. Okay, now if I want to put one in the middle, because let's say this one's broken and I need to replace it. Okay, so it's a little trickier, but it's really not. It's really just as simple as the other one was. So what we want to do is get, for our replacement part's going to be this guy, same as that one, and all I need is one of these. I don't need two of them. Okay, I may not even need. I'm not even going to need this at all, actually. Okay, so what I'm going to do is, well, it depends if this is, damaged. So I'm just assuming that this one and this one are not damaged. Okay, that this mechanism is broken. Okay, so what I want to do first of all is, again, I want to get underneath. So this is the one that's sliding here. It's on top. So I want to get underneath. And I don't want to go between the two. See that you can accidentally go between. So I'm between the one that slides and the one that's locked. And I don't want to be in between. I want to be all the way here. I want to get underneath where the first one is, connected to the plastic piece. And so we just get there. Okay. And I'm leaving all the struggling part in here just to show you that, so you can see the best way to have done it was to have gotten it this way, just to show you that you never really master this. It's always a struggle to some extent. It's not really hard, but it can be clumsy. So replace that piece. So we're going to pull that out, Okay, and then you're going to put our new piece in. We make sure we orientate it the same way as the other pieces, okay? And then we go ahead and slide that in. We put this piece in on top. Get them both under the tab. So make sure they're both under there's two little tabs here. Make sure they're both underneath that tab. You wiggle enough that it'll go in, and then you pull the one that's underneath. You hold this and pull the one that's under. So this is the one that's over, and you pull the one that's under. That's this one, and there you go. And now the new one's in place. Okay, so just remember that you when you want to separate it, that you got to be on the between the plastic piece and the top of this guy here that's attached. So you don't want to get in between the two pieces. That's the most common mistake, is you want to be at the top. Okay, and the reason why I'm doing this sort of thing is because I'm going to be using these for curtains, so that you can use a vertical blinds rail to open and close curtains, and it keeps the curtains perfectly spaced. I'm going to be using the grommet curtains, so it keeps them perfectly spaced, and they look real good when you open them and close them. You don't have to keep adjusting each one when you close the curtains. A lot of times it's such a pain to do all that. People just leave the curtains shut all day long. So this way here, just one swish, it's open, and swish it back and it's closed, and the curtains are always lined up correctly.